Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and our Nepali brothers and sisters who has been earning livelihood in Oman. You are far away from your country, the country where Buddha was born, the country where we are proud of being the founder, the instigator of the world peace. But when we think of the Buddha himself, who was a Nepali, who was born in Nepal in Lumbini, we may be very proud being a Buddhist. We might be very proud having the same nationality as the world's greatest thinker as a Buddha. And the Buddha is not only regarded as the founder of Buddhism, as many of us might think. The very important thing about being a Buddha himself is, in fact, nothing to do with religions at all. Buddha is a symbolic. Buddha is a symbolic achievement that every one of us can achieve. The same achievement just as Prince Siddhartha of Nepal achieved as the world religious founder called Buddha. As I said, Buddha might be nothing to do with religion because the Buddha Jayanti or the Vesak Day, which His Excellencies kindly organized for all our brother and sister living in Oman, which His Excellency kindly organized Buddha Jayanti for all of us who have been earning our livelihood in hardship in Oman. This is not just only festival in a sense. We might think that it is only the Nepalese embassy who is doing this favor. In fact, many countries around the world, be a Buddhist or Buddhist alike, or even a non-Buddhist, they all celebrate Buddha Jayanti, Vaisakha Puja Day in Thailand or Vesak Day internationally. You might heard that since 1999, it was the General Assembly of United Nations who recognized the Vesak Day as International Day of Vesak or United Nations Day of Vesak, which means that regardless of religious affiliation, everyone in this world, all UN-related regional offices are requested, allowed to celebrate the Vesak Day in their own offices. It is not only for Buddhists anymore. It has been celebrated as an international or world festival per se. Therefore, we might be able to see the importance of the Buddha's birth in that sense. We might think that Buddha's birth is only important for Buddhists, but these days, in this modern age, what we see that the Buddha's message is universal. And the Buddha's message, what we call Dharma, is so appealing to the modern world that even the scientific world is very appreciative of these messages of the Buddha, who was born in Nepal. So, I am very thankful for His Excellency who find this opportunity to at least come together to remind, to think of our great man, a Nepali prince, the Buddha, today. It was on full moon day of May or full moon day of Vesak month was very important day about 2,600 years ago. Because it was a day that Prince Siddhartha from Kapilavastu, Nepal, were born in Lumbini Garden, which is also in Nepal. It was on the full moon day of May that Prince Siddhartha appeared in this world as a human, just like any one of us in Lumbini Garden. And then on the same day, after the 35 years of his searching, wandering around, trying to find the truth, living all his luxuries in the palace, and finally at the age of 35, he was transformed. His idea was totally transformed to become the Buddha. Buddha means awakened one. Buddha means someone who really see as they really are. He is transformed from being a Buddha to being a Buddha. It was at his age of 35. After that, he has been wandering around everywhere, every corner, every directions, what his body, his physical strength allowed him to go, and spread all his ideas, his understanding of the world, especially his understanding of how we can overcome the miserable state of our mind and our life. For 45 years, he was going every direction from Lumbini, Nepal. And then finally, for 45 years, he has been teaching non-stop for 45 years. And at the age of 80, again on the same full moon day of Vesak month, he passed away, he died. But he died with a legacy. He left all the legacies of his teaching to us. Therefore, this is a triple symbolic life of Buddha's occurrence. It's called Buddha Jayanti. Although the Buddha Jayanti refer only the birth of the Buddha, but in fact, it is a birth of his enlightenment, the Buddha himself. So it is although Buddha Jayanti, although it is about the birth of Buddha, we are relating here as the birth of Siddhartha at Lumbini. And the birth of the Buddha, one who is enlightened at the Bodh Gaya, at the age of 35. And after that, at the age of 80s, when he left his legacy for all worldling, just like us. That is the birth of the proper Buddhism again. So, the Vaisakha Purnima, or Buddha Jayanti, or Vesak Day, is very important in a sense that it is a thrice symbolic appearance in the world. The birth of Prince Siddhartha, a man just like us, and showing that a normal man like us can achieve the highest knowledge that is called Buddha. And those highest knowledge is so practicable that everyone on earth, every walks of life can practice to achieve the same achievement, that is the awakening of every individual. And this legacy of Dharma, which is conducive to the world peace, happiness, is not only the world peace, but in individual level, we can really look upon a lot of teachings which can really teach us, which can really lead us to get over our suffering life. So that's why Buddha Jayanti is so important. And Buddha Jayanti is not important only among Buddhists, but all among the human world. Because, as I said earlier, it is celebrated by the United Nations, It is celebrated by many countries where Buddhism is another main religion. So they take it, Buddha, as one of the great person of the world who can teach us, who can lead us to our happiness. So this is the whole idea for Buddha Jayanti, why we are celebrating. So it is not only symbolic that we are Nepalese, we are doing this to remember our Nepali prince who became the Buddha, but it is something that we are doing in order to let ourselves learn about his teaching and able to bring those teachings into our life. As far as I understood, our Dajubai Didibainiharu, our brother and sisters who have been coming all the way from Nepal, leaving all the relatives, families behind, and you are here in Oman for your livelihood, hoping that you can get some job, hoping that you can earn some money and share that money with your families, with your relatives, so that they can live happily. It is one way you might think that it is a very, very egocentric. You are looking for very money-minded way of living. But I really salute all of our brothers and sisters who are living here, who gave up your own happiness, who gave up all your difficulties instead of living with your families, your sons and daughters, your mother and father. You leave all behind, just like the Buddha, just like a Prince Siddhartha who left everything behind. And you are here to earn your life. And whatever you earn, you are not using for yourself alone, but you are sharing all your abundance with your families, with your wife, with your children, with your mother and father. What basically you are doing is that you are sacrificing your happiness for happiness of others. They are the families and your close relatives. So this is something we are doing as a practice of dharma. Of course, from economical side, we might say that we are an economic mind. But I see differently. Of course, money is important because without money, the things cannot be purchased. And we are here thinking that that money can help to extend our happiness among our families and yourself. But the one thing is that money sometimes misleads us. We might understand that money is everything. Money is God. I still remember one of the saying in Nepal, saying that even the god Shiva, if the god Shiva sees the money, his third eye will open. So sometimes the money is so bad in that sense that it destroys the whole idea of humanity. So therefore, earning is very important, but we have to think, according to the teaching of the Buddha, that how do we mindfully earn our living? How do we earn our life so that it is not only earning, but you don't fail to be victims of that earning? We might see some of our friends who came all the way here and didn't went back to their homeland, Nepal. Somebody died during their pursuit for money, pursuit for livelihood. So sad that. Because sometimes we are pressured we are stressed, we are anxious with our life in foreign land. We gave up everything. We left all our luxury behind, hoping that we might get something out which is better for us and our families, and of course our country as well. But when we study Buddhism, we have to balance that very idea. True, it is us, it is you, who is the main vehicle, who is the main mechanism in making this world, making your family, making Nepal prosperous. But we have to think that not in the cost of our life, not in the cost of our own miserable suffering until we can't tolerate. So we have to be always think. Because things is started from each individual, just like all our brothers and sisters who is attending this ceremony. Because we exist here, so our relative is relevant, our embassy is relevant, our ambassador is relevant, because we exist, because you are here sitting in this ceremonial ground, in this hall. So once you are here, everyone else also related, also relevant to you. Unlike if you are living in your own room, locked up, maybe all other things can be shut down. But that is not a human nature. Human nature is that we have to become a part and parcel. The whole idea of a part and parcel is actually the word Bhagavan in Nepali, or Bhagava in Pali. When we say that Bhagavan Buddha, when we say that Bhagavan, whatever Bhagavan, actually Bhagavan is not a god as we understood. The word Bhagavana is from the word Bhaga, which means that one who understands that we are part and parcel of others. So it means that there is no such thing as I. There is no such thing as ego. The ego and I exist because there are other relevant to us existed. If you are not a son of your parents, then you wouldn't be a son. So whoever it is, at the moment, I am functioning as a Buddhist monk because there you are watching this, listening to this as a devotees, as a part of being a Nepalese. So even being a Nepal is relevant because there is a country called Nepal and we were born in Nepal. If you are born in somewhere else, although you are Nepali blood, you might be called something else. So therefore, the ultimate truth in this world is always related with others. That's why one of the very important Buddhist teaching is being a Bhagava, being a Bhagavan yourself, which means that you realize and appreciate that you are part and parcel for others. You do have a gratitude and respect for others. We do have a right or respect the right of others. That is all about being a Bhagavan actually. So whoever have that very wide heart, accept others as they really are, that is why that is a heart or mind of God or the mind of Bhagavan. From Buddhist point of view, the God is not somewhere in heaven. From Buddhist point of view, God is something you create yourself. You can become a God. When we do a lot of things, we might see in our society, when somebody did very good thing, we say, oh, dhanya, dhanya. It is just like a Bhagavan, you see. So Bhagavan is not out there for prayer. From Buddhist point of view, Bhagavan is something you create, you make it. You do it. And that's why Buddha Jayanti is very important, that we are reminded by the incident of the Buddha that although we were born as a human, but we can do something just like a Bhagavan, just like a Buddha, the enlightened one. So therefore, the Buddha Jayanti is sometime, we call it as a day of human independence. Because before that, we might, even these days, we all know that we are dependent on God. We are dependent on something which is not visible, not feasible. We don't see where it is, but we have fear, we're scared. But Buddha says that, no. Everything happens because of our karma. We did it. We did it ourselves. That's why we are facing all those results of our actions. Actions come after reactions. Reaction is the action. So therefore, it is a karma and karma phala. It's something we can do it ourselves. We can avoid it ourselves. We can make it better ourselves, or we can make it worse ourselves. The choice is yours. That is Buddha's independence, which gave on the Buddha Jayanti, the symbolic idea of the Buddha's birth. Therefore, how we choose or how we practice that independence is called dharma. I guess in your case, I'm sure that you are very anxious. You are very stressed out in your job, in your way of finding the money, in your earning your livelihood. Of course, anxious or anxiety become part of who we are when we work hard. In fact, if you understand the anxiety, where it comes from, it is very easy to deal with that. Because anxiety or anxious is the result of our expectation. One of the Buddha's idea, one of the Buddha's teaching is say that Buddha asks us to live at present. Or the more better word is to be mindful or mindfulness. To be at present. Because in generally, we love to live at the past. Or we love to live in the future. So whatever happened, you are always saying that, oh, I shouldn't say that, I should not have done that, I should not, been there, I should not go there. So everything has already passed. There's nothing can be changed. But you are very anxious. You are worrying about something which cannot be changed. And that is a cause of anxiety. Another cause of anxiety, again, beyond your own capacity to control over it. That is to think about future. If I will earn this amount of money, I can do that. If I can do, if I am there, I can do that. If I am there, I will have, marry this girl or that boy, whatever it is. You are always thinking which is unthinkable of the future, which is not there yet. So these are the cause of anxiety. So that's why you are stressed out, because you forget to live in present. You are always indulged with the past or future which is beyond your control. So one of the things in the Buddha Jayanti, I would like to emphasize that how we use Buddha Jayanti as a technique for us to live happily is that you might be able to think of your past or future, but just as a planning, just to be aware, but not to be attached with it. You might just plan that, okay, in 10 days what you are doing. But you shouldn't fix onto that plan, because things are changing all the time. That is one of the Buddha's teaching. That the Buddha's dharma is anitya, or impermanence. Everything are impermanent. Sounds very bad, but that is a fact. Because things are impermanent, and that's why we call development. Whatever we call develop, because it is going according to the nature of impermanent. It's always changing. So if it doesn't change, we don't call it develop. So we have to accept the changes. We have to be ready to all kind of changing which might come to in our life. Things are beyond our control. We might think that Our body is our body. We might control our body. Can we? If I say that this is my finger, yes, this is my fingers, of course. But if this is my finger, can I control over this my finger or not? If I raise my finger like this for, let's say, for 5 minutes, maybe I can. But if I ask that, let it extend to 10 minutes, can you keep your hand, your finger straight like this for 10 minutes consecutively? Then you find that it is not possible. So what about 1 hour? What about 2 hours? What about next day? What about next month? What about next year? So by nature, things are always impermanent. And if you are still holding on to this, if you say that, I like my glass, this one so much, this is very, very beneficial, this is very, very practical. But if I hold on to this like this for 5 minutes, might be I can hold it. If I have to hold it like this for 10 minutes, I'm not sure whether I can hold it for that long or not. What about 1 month, 2 months? If I'm holding, what happened? I'm become a stupid monk because I don't know how to let go. I'm clinging onto it. And then by the action of clinging, I'm suffering of that. So Buddha's simple idea is that things are changing and we have to change accordingly. So once we change accordingly, we don't feel that we are painful. We don't feel that we are anxious because whatever change, we change accordingly. Basically, we are always adaptable to the surroundings. So that is one very practical technique which Buddha gave us, that to live in present mindfully. If you live in the present mindfully, so you have to think, okay, what I'm doing now? At the moment, you are listening to me. So listening carefully. Put all your concentration on this listening. Put your concentration on this watching this. But if you are thinking of your work, if you are thinking of your relative, if you are thinking of your wife, have sons and daughter or husband, my voice get into the ears, but not the essence. It's just only the noise. In order to get essence, you have to be mindful and be at the present. So once you be at the present, all our anxiety just gone away because it cannot penetrate to your mind. So therefore, very important message the Buddha gave on the Buddha Jayanti is that be mindful in your daily living. Whatever you do, whatever your function, do it mindfully, do it carefully, do it your good intentions that you are not doing for yourself alone, but you are doing for this whole world. You are doing for your family, you are doing for others. Once you are able to open your mind and then accept whatever the situations going around, you become adaptable to the things, then that is what we call happiness arise. Sukha, in our language, happiness, is very different from the Western happiness. In Western happiness, it is always a pursuit for happiness, which means that you have to always go and find pursuit. You have always trying to find it. If there's a new phone, a new model, you go and find, hoping that that will bring you happiness. If you have a new bag, if you have a new dress, you go and buy it and hoping that that will bring you happiness. But there is many research which researchers has completed, which has done. The result was that money is not important for happiness at all. Money is what will give us misery in our life. Because money is a tools, but if you use that tools in the wrong way, it gives us bad result than beneficial. Therefore, when we think that money matters, but not ultimately. Money matters, but temporarily. So we have to understand that. So once you use that, And instead of pursuing for your own benefit, but adjust yourself. Sukha and dukkha, in fact, is the same word. Su and du is a prefix. The word kha behind is a root word of toleration or patience. So if you can tolerate easily, that is called sukha. And if you cannot tolerate, that is called dukkha. If you can adapt easily, that is called sukha. But if you cannot adapt, it is called dukkha. So I sometimes translate that sukha and dukkha as dis, this, that is. This is become a dukkha and is a sukha. So take it easy. Life is very short. You are here to earn your money. Work hard, of course, with mindfully, but not clinging on, not attaching on so much that you miss all other points. Always think that you have someone behind who is living in Nepal you are working for. Think of your heart, think of your mind. And at the same time, you have to be honest with you. So before you express your love to someone who you love, be it your family, your relative, your parents, but you have to learn one thing is that self-love. You should respect yourself also. You have to look after yourself also. You are alone in this foreign land. There is no one who can take care of you. So you have to be taken care by yourself so that your energy, so that your intentions, so that your effort benefit both yourself and your families, your relatives back in home in Nepal. So therefore, the whole idea of the community is very, very important in Buddhism. So we do things not for ourselves alone, but for the sake of community. Therefore, I would say that whole idea of Buddha Jayanti is just that. When Buddha was born as a Prince Siddhartha in Lumbini, that is showing that the greatest man in the world doesn't have to be any god. Has to be a normal human being just like us. But with his effort, but with our effort, we can transform from being a normal human to be somebody who is beneficial to your families and to the world. How? By understanding the nature, the dharma. By understanding our mind, by understanding yourself. That is a bodhijnana, that is the enlightenment of the Vesak Purnima. And of course, at the age of 80, when he left this world, when he died, he said that there's no point of worshipping me as a Buddha, but all those teachings will be your God, will be your Buddha. So practice those teachings and you become Buddha yourself too. So therefore, when he left his legacy for all the community at his death. Therefore, Buddha Jayanti is sometimes I see is that it is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. We are familiar with the song Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. That is the very essence of Vesak Purnima. Because Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, I take refuge to the Buddha, I take Buddha as our guideline. Then I take Dharma as my guideline. Is that the principles which make us somebody, which make us a human, one who is able to think for yourself. Human, Manushya. Always be understood that Manushya means that the Mana Usaya, the one who has a creative mind, is someone called Manushya. So be a true Manushya who is always have this creativity of your mind. That is through the practice of principle that is called Dharma. Be a mindfulness, be a the smriti, be a samadhi, be a any patience, be a satya, whatever you call it, all the Buddhist teachings has to be practiced, the principle. So I take those principles, the Dharma, as my guideline. And Sangha means that we are living in a compassionate society. We have to be in a compassionate society because we can't live together. We can't live alone. As a human, we are bound to live together with others. We have to rely on help of others. That's why the Sangha is so important. And that's why when he died, he left everything on to the Sangha. So that is called Vaisakha Purnima, or the Buddha Jayanti is equally important to think of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. So to put it even simply, I would say that the Buddha Jayanti is the ABC of Buddhism itself. Why I'm saying that? Because A means that awakening. So it is a day that Buddha awakened, Buddha appeared in this world. And then it is a day that we should awaken ourselves too. How do you awake? With a B. B is what? B is balance. Balance is what? Balance basically means that dharma. Dharma means that what which uphold. So when we have that dharma as a balance, and we can live compassionately with the community that is a Sangha, or that is a C community. So we live compassionately, we live friendly with our friends and family in our society. So that's why Buddha Jayanti, in another version, is a Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. In another version, it is a ABC of Buddhism. But after all, it is something that giving that chance, opportunity for us to transform ourselves from a normal being to a human being who care of yourself at the same time taking care of all others from your families and beyond. So, on this auspicious occasion of Vaisakha Purnima, I bless you all with my heart, invoking the power of Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Bless you to live happily, successfully, and with good health, pursuing what you are pursuing for may be success in very soon, so that you can go back and rejoin with your family back home in Nepal, and we can really feel that proud of being a Nepali who are sharing the same nationality as the Buddha. Happy Buddha Jayanti. Thank you.